Right. If you've had a look at it and you've thought about it a little bit, I hope a few things have crossed your mind. And those few things that I want to mention now is when you're doing an assessment in financial reporting and accounting in the RTC one day, even now in your undergraduate, postgraduate level, you never leave something out. It is too hard to make up those marks in another question. So you have to always do your very best in every single question that you get. And that's really a golden rule that you need to take to heart and start living by. Because even the hardest question has easy marks in, and you need to go and get those. You score more marks starting a question than trying to finish other questions. Okay. That said, just with the finishing other questions, remember to make sure you've answered the question always. That they don't come with any funny stories about, but you didn't say what we wanted, and then they give you an auto divide by 4 or 2 or whatever the case would be. So that's the one thing that I want you to watch out for. And then the other thing is, we've said this to you before, but with cases, don't let the wrapping fool you. Don't let the scenario make you get all freaked out. The scenario is just pretty and making it real world for you. But what's the underlying here? They're actually just asking you what to do when IFRS doesn't have an accounting policy. They've just made it prettier and more interesting and more exciting. So thank you to the people that set this question. So don't let that, and then keep it simple. Read it as I did with you now, and have a look. Accounting policy, IS8, initial recognition, subsequent asset standards. What's going on there? Oh, they've told me IS40. Okay, let me go look under the headings of initial measurement, subsequent measurement. Okay, so those things must guide you, and I'm going to quickly just go through the memo, not in a lot of detail because you have it with you, and not to teach you the content that's been done before, but just that exam technique. So if you look at the solution to this question now, they tell you what an accounting policy is. There we go, get the easy marks. That's what I said, get the easy marks. Then it tells you that whole story about if there's an IFRS, use it. Okay, then we say, but we don't have an IFRS in this case. So there is no IFRS. So we can't fall into paragraph 8.7. So we're going to have to look for something else that's going to be going on here. In the absence of an IFRS, so that's now really where I want to be. I've said we're doing accounting policies. I want to look if there's an IFRS. There isn't one. In the absence of IFRS, what are we going to use for these Lego sets? Because there's no IFRS at least that I've seen called Lego sets. Okay, so we've got to look for one by analogy, one that's similar, that can help us. And they tell you the steps that you're going to go through. Now, they tell you the relevance, reliability. Okay, I need to mention that. That's part of the hierarchy. But Merry Christmas, what do they say in the question? Please don't go and discuss this in any detail. So don't get caught up in all of that. Then it says in making the judgments that you need to go and get this relevant and reliable information, go to that other IFRS that is similar to it. What is similar to it? The recognition criteria, is it similar? Is the definition similar? Okay, and we've helped you in this case, and we've said to you, go to IS40. Okay, so they've said here, therefore IS40, and they give you a bit of application that you can go through to. So the easy marks in this part was really just giving that theory. What is an accounting policy? IFRS tells you what to do. If IFRS can't tell you what do, you want to get relevant and reliable information. And how do you get that? Go and look in the other standards that are similar to it. That will help you get it there. So easy marks there. Quite a few of those things you could have written down very quickly and got easy marks. Very little application. Remember they said only the pertinent stuff. Okay, so the application so far has been quite short. And we've helped you get into IS40 now. So what do we say in IS40? Okay, what does IS40 actually account for? It's investment property, okay, held for capital appreciation, etc. Those words are going to help you when you get into it. And then the application comes in here. And now this is where you take out of the information and you try and use it here. We've told you to use IS40. So how are these Lego sets similar to an investment property? And just go and apply it the best you can there. Even if you're feeling a little rushed and flushed and uncertain, you've already scored so many marks in this question. Much more than the 0 you started with. By just giving that bit of information from IS8, now starting with IS40, you've already told me what it is in IS40. You've got those marks. What is IS40? Investment property. So do your best with the application. And you're already surprisingly close to passing this question. Never mind naught, you're probably moving closer to 50%. So you'll see the application again, like you've learned so far. The application is always there where they give you each part of what you've just given to earn rentals or any other income, held for use in the production of supply of goods or services. So use that definition. This paragraph looks long, but it's just applying the definition that you've just seen there. So you're in IS40. Then they give you examples. If you're paging in your IS40, there's an example. And one of these is probably the closest we can find to the scenario with the Lego bricks. So give that example. Get that easy mark again in paragraph 8 in IS40. Okay? Land held currently undetermined future use. We're not entirely sure what the Lego group's doing with these things. They're going to keep them in perpetuity for people to look at. As far as I know, people don't even get into the vault. So there isn't really a use perhaps that we can find. And even if that's not exactly true, we're looking for something as close as possible by analogy. And they've told me to use IS40. And this example here is very similar. And then you, as we've just discussed it now, you give your application just underneath it. And see how close you can get to getting that application mark as well while you're there. Then, even if you hadn't discussed now the standard itself, what is IS40 about, why would it be similar by analogy? I mean, in the required initial measurement, subsequent measurement, those headings were there. And here they are, initial measurement. What does IS40 say for initial measurement? You all know that by now. How easy are these marks now? So even with everything we've done, we might be a little bit short of 50 already. Now, Merry Christmas. Let's ram this pass home on this question. Initial measurement, I know IS40's initial measurement. It's cost model. So in the required section, they told you, look at IS40. They gave you the words initial measurement. Seriously, Merry Christmas. So you write down that initial measurement. Subsequent measurement. What's the rule with subsequent measurement? You've got two options to choose from. Okay, and then you can go into the application of that once you've written down the theory. I mean, fair value is usually the preferred one. They say to you if there's comparable prices. And the case had information on all of this to help you apply it. So you can read through this slowly and see how they've applied it. And then you can come to your conclusion. Initial measurement, seriously, is easy. Your choice is cost. And subsequent measurement is cost or fair value. And based on the argument that's given above, fair value seems to be the most likely given the information given in the question as well. And then you're using the fair value model. What do you do with the change in fair value model? Must go to profit or loss every year. Okay, so then you can apply that. You come to your conclusion again. Now you can develop your accounting policy, which is just very much saying what a standard would say for the Lego sets if you developed it. So Lego sets are held for capital appreciation, undetermined future use, initially measured at cost, subsequently they'll be measured at fair value with the movements through. So in explaining this, I've tried to really emphasize the easy marks in this. Now, that's not to make you feel silly or how did I miss that? Not at all. We're learning together, and this is just another step in the process of learning. This question you might have felt the first time you saw it under the pressure. You might have felt overwhelmed by it. You might have left it out. And now I'm just trying to emphasize to you, never be defeated by a question. Never, ever. Just sit back, think, okay, I'm going to do my best on this question. What are the headlights pointing me at? Initial measurement in this case, subsequent measurement. They told me IS40. So all of that was helping me get all of these pieces of the puzzle together. And you'll be surprised when you're doing a case like this and you just let yourself try the question and you start doing the cost and you start doing the subsequent measurements, more things will start popping into your head. You'll start getting more confident with the question. And you might have written initial and subsequent measurement and nothing else. Then you've got a little bit of time left, and then you think, okay, maybe I must just go to IS40 and say, what is IS40? Why is it the right one by analogy? Oh, I've still got a little bit of time left. Let's go to IS8 if you hadn't started there initially because it said, I mean, one of the first words in the required was accounting policy. So there might have been different ways for you to getting this. You've all been practicing this question. You might have done different approaches. There's no right or wrong way to it. The point is get the maximum score you can for this question. Get those easy marks. Okay, so this video again has not been about the technical application. You guys know IS8. We've done it before. There are videos on IS8. You also know IS40. You know the initial measurement. You know the subsequent measurement. You could probably say to me in the middle of the night, if I phoned you and said to you, IS40 measurement model, go. I'm sure you could all repeat it to me. And that's all that essentially was in this question. Okay, so again, get confidence from this now. We don't look back, we look forward. We've learned. Build your confidence now and think, sure, okay, next time I get a question like this, I'm going to give that question a real good go. All right. I really hope this video helps you guys. There's important lessons in it, and that's the journey on 201. We are growing all the time. We're growing to becoming that CA out there one day that's going to be so important in society. So have a re-listen to this video if you need, have a rethink about this. It was I really loved this question. I think and the answer is really not too challenging in the end. So build your confidence from this. You guys actually know what you're doing. It's just the confidence to put your feet on the road and go for it. And we're building that up with time. Thanks for listening. I hope it's been of value to you. I'll see you around, guys.